So everyone, it's the morning of the election results. I'm obviously very upset with everything. It's obviously, very, very annoying time to be someone in the UK, especially a young person, since, we're so supportive of people like Jeremy Corbyn. But this isn't to talk about the election results. If you want me to talk about that, I did a half an hour interview with the Humanist Report on the night it happened, basically. So go check that out on his channel. I think I've uploaded it on my channel by now, but I don't know if it's been demonetized by review, because it was demonetized and I wanted it demonetized to get to more people, essentially. But let's get into what the topic is today, and that is people in America, especially centrist Democrats, are using the British election result to attack Bernie Sanders and say, look, the British electorate, they rejected this type of leftism pretty staggeringly. Like, the Tories got a majority after all this sort of thing. So it's clear this is not appealing. We got to be like centrist. We got to be like Tony Blair in 1997. We got to be like maybe like Obama in his second term. That is the way to go. Centrism, not this radicalism. And it's quite ironic and funny, but I'm going to get into why I think it's a ridiculous assessment. But basically, there's a lady called Neera Tanden, who's a Democratic centrist insider, and I saw her tweeting before the UK election, don't vote for Corbyn because of the anti-Semitism manufactured crisis. And I say it's manufactured crisis. I'm not saying it doesn't actually exist in the Labour Party, but just the hysteria around it. But then Glenn Greenwald tweeted, I just got it up here, sorry I haven't got it on the screen, he said, huge differences between the US and the UK in terms of this type of politics. Brexit and Labour's poor attempt to maintain both Remainers and Leavers, the complete assault on Corbyn by Labour centrist and centre-left institutions, which I hope won't happen to Sanders, and Corbyn is way to the left of all viable US Dems. Neera Tanden saying, are you serious or joking, I cannot tell, then went on to say, Corbyn's campaign said he got his ideas from a person running for president now. He also was attacked for having plans that are unaffordable and unlikely to happen. If we don't think that attack is ready here, I really don't know what to say. That attack happens no matter what platform you run on. If Michael Bloomberg runs for is the Democratic nominee, they're going to say the same things to him. The right wing always say these things aren't affordable, but there's plenty of money for constant war. That is just the way it works. Things to help people are unaffordable in right wing terms anyway. But I think this is a ridiculous assessment, and I like what Glenn Greenwald said. And I was on the Real Progressive show with Joy the other day, and I was saying the difference here with Corbyn and Bernie is that Bernie's solutions to a lot of these problems are just trying to make the US up to date with the rest of the world. Universal healthcare is not radical. I'm sure Tandem would say you shouldn't run on that. It's not radical. Our election was fighting for the future of the NHS, right? And we've had it since 1948. It's not a radical proposition. Most countries have had it for years. Even poor countries like Cuba have it. And it's a good system, even in a country that can't afford a lot of things because of the US embargo and things like that. So it's a ridiculous argument. And the US is a completely different context also because it's far, far wealthier. And there is so much extra money you can just see. Given the biggest tax cut of American history in Trump's first term, don't you think the money could be better used on college for all or Medicare for all? What about constant money for war? Not to mention the 3-point-something billion dollars given to Israel every year. Israel is a wealthy country. Israel is a powerful country. It doesn't need $3 billion in military aid every year. Take that away, put it to some good use. See, there's loads of things in the US system which is so much more obvious, like take away that, and we can do more. Not to mention the fact that most massive companies, corporations in the US like Amazon, Activision, places like that, they don't pay any tax. You pay tax to them. They get tax credits, especially video game companies. Take away those loopholes, make them pay their fair share. Make billionaires pay their fair share. It's like everyone always says, it's great Mark Zuckerberg, great that he gives to charity, and Jeff Bezos, but if he paid tax, he'd be giving away a lot more money. So just pay your fair share of tax. It's not a radical notion to say that. And Corbyn's campaign wasn't radical. It was just doing stuff to take us into the future. It was, advocating for things like a social care service, improving the NHS a lot more because it's in crisis. It's for ending British imperialism, ending our assistance to the Saudi war in Yemen. It's not radical. And things like nationalised broadband. Well, we're getting to the future now. Everyone needs good internet to just live. How do you apply for a job without internet? So it's just a basic utility. And as you Americans know, the companies that run the internet or run your internet provider essentially, in America they've carved up little fiefdoms so they don't have to compete with each other and they can just do whatever they want. You want to put a necessity, and the internet is a necessity now. You want to put that solely in the hands of corporations. So is that really radical what Corbyn's asking for? And when people ask where the money's from, when we talk about that, they don't ask about where the money's from when Theresa May gave the DUP a £1 billion bung to support her agenda. They don't talk about all the money the Conservatives wasted advertising Brexit, which was meant to happen on the 31st of October. Millions and millions of pounds. That's what just gone down the drain. But when we talk about policies that will actually help the poorest and just help general people, it's like, where will the money come from? So don't believe these people who say that it's an instant, Corbyn's loss shows this sort of politics isn't working. The difference to the UK is Brexit. That is the sole difference. You see places that voted for Conservative that have never voted for Conservative because Brexit has been advertised as this magic solution to all these problems. What is happening is that working class people their anger is misdirected. They're not blaming the Tories for all of this. They're not blaming neoliberal economics. They are blaming people like Corbyn for wasting money on benefits and things like that. And they think Brexit is the solution. So how you got to understand it is that they should vote for Corbyn. They would benefit for his policies. His policies would help them. But they've got this belief in their head that the thing that will help them, the thing that would do what Corbyn is promising in reality, is Brexit. But most people don't understand Brexit. Brexit is so complicated, and as someone who writes about immigration and pharmaceuticals for my job, in terms of journalism, I'm telling you now, Brexit is not going to be a benefit for the economy. Brexit is not going to be a benefit for society. There's loads of laws that we use from the EU that we actually don't have in British law, so we're going to rewrite the laws when we leave. Do you trust a bunch of rich people who went to the same school, people who've been in control of the country for about 1,000 years, the same sort of people? You trust them to rewrite the laws? You trust them to rewrite human rights as we don't subscribe to the European one anymore? And is that what you're voting for? So you trust them to increase, the way we're going to do trade now. We're going to have to pay way more. We're going to basically be so screwed with the US now. They can do whatever they want. Why would they help us? It's like Dominic Raab said, why would the US raise drug prices? Well, corporations exist to make money, and that's what they're going to do every single time. So it's a ridiculous logic. And I feel sorry for people. I'm an empathetic guy. These people have been conned, and they're going to realise it because the thing is, a lot of left-wing people vote for Labour. Sometimes, they're better off. I've had a good upbringing. I've lived in relative comfort. I've been able to pursue my education, and my job is fine. I'm probably not going to be hurt too much by all this stuff. It depends how it goes, and I'm relatively healthy as well. But that's what having empathy is called. Just because I'm going to have to pay more tax or whatever, I don't care if everyone in this country has a better life. But that is the disease of capitalism. Everyone is so greedy. If you vote Conservative and you don't make over £50,000, I don't know what you're doing, because you're not even benefiting from a tax cut, and you're getting everything your taxes pay for cut, services, and you're getting all the NHS or all our public utilities sold to corporations. And if you want to make sure we're going to live in Blade Runner, this is the best way to go about it. So that is just me rambling a bit on the UK election. But just don't believe these people who say the solutions aren't viable. They're the right solutions. Economists endorse these things. We have to stop measuring how good a society is based on economic growth. I saw that the pound was up today and the markets were doing well. Yeah, that's great. Not for like 20 million people in this country who live in poverty. It's great for the top 1%. And you might say, the reporters might say, oh, isn't this great? The economy's doing wonderful. No, it's not. Not for most people. And that's what we got to change how we measure this stuff. So policies like nationalised broadband, policies like free college for all like in America, and Medicare for all, that is what you need to do. And it makes financial sense because people don't have these economic burdens anymore and all this debt. So just don't trust people who said or are saying on Twitter that because Corbyn lost, Bernie is not viable. It is really, Bernie is very, very popular, way more popular than Corbyn. So please don't ever leave him and stick with him to the end, because I feel like he could win, and it would be amazing for the world if he did. And I won't get my hopes up too much how he will change America, but wouldn't it be nice to have someone like that who actually cares about regular people? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at The Cavernacle. Check out my Reddit, u/TommyCahill1995. Check out my Patreon in the description. I'm always grateful for my supporters. And until next time, thank you for watching.